Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Drift Flash, and it has been probably yet a month or something since the last time I did a voice comparison reaction video. Obviously, the last one I did was April O'Neil from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I'm still continuing the Ninja Turtle character series. This time, I'm going to be doing another one of the Ninja Turtles' good friends, and it is obviously the one and only vigilante, Casey Jones. Now, obviously, I do like Casey Jones. He's a cool character. You know, he's got stuff. He's just got swag. He's got it all. You know, of course, I like Casey Jones is obviously a pretty good character in the Ninja Turtles. And this is obviously going to be a pretty short voice comparison. It's only 2 minutes and 25 seconds, and as I guess it looks like there's only 4 people in this one. And I can't really say too much about Casey Jones other than the fact that he's just, you know, a cool character and stuff. Although there are a couple things I do maybe want to try talking about at the end of the video, because, you know, there's some things I gotta mention and everything, I guess, about, you know, of recent and everything, I guess, but, you know. And I will let you know that later on today at 7 o'clock, I'll be going to my high school, even though it's a Sunday today, but because they're having an event called Senior Sunrise, which means we're just basically going to be playing games and just watch the sunset. So, I'll be looking forward to going to that, because this 3-day weekend didn't really go too well for me, because, you know, we had no school Friday and everything, and we originally were supposed to go to Showbiz in Waxahachie to go see the Mortal Kombat 2021 movie, but my dad's back has been in a lot of pain, and he has not been feeling too well. He might have to visit the doctor or something, and, you know, that got canceled. I don't know what's going to happen to my dad. He really has not been feeling the same since, but I hope he gets better soon, and I hope y'all pray for my dad, because I am a bit worried for him. But anyway, I do go back to school tomorrow. It'll be my second to last week of school, and then after the next week after I start tomorrow, I only have just 2 days that week. So the week after this coming week, I'll only have Monday and Tuesday to go. They won't do a full week that time. The last day of school for the seniors will be on the 25th, so apparently it'll be on that Tuesday, which is going to be pretty weird, but pretty cool though. And I will also definitely want to guarantee you to know that I'll definitely be hanging out with as many of my friends as possible and get all the signatures in my yearbook, because after that Tuesday, I will no longer be part of Red Oak High School anymore. I will no longer be a senior or part of any grade at the high school. I'll be officially leaving the high school and no longer being a student there. And it's really, really sad, because I'm really going to miss it a lot. Oh, and also, the week after this coming week, also, after that, my final day is ended in the 25th, I have, you know, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday off, obviously. On Saturday, on the 29th, that's where things are going to change, because if y'all haven't even knowed yet, I will be going to New York in May the 29th, and I return June the 2nd. I'll be heading to New York with my senior buddies, best buddies, from the Avenue Church of Waxahachie. It's the church's way of giving us a final something fun to do before, you know, we officially are done being students at the Avenue Church of Waxahachie and graduate as well. So yeah, I'll be heading to New York, and I will do my very best to make some videos there, because obviously now that I have my own phone, I can take it with me, and I hope that I'll make as many videos, make many photos, and all that stuff while I can, because I'd love to make some videos of my YouTube channel, me being in New York, and maybe even possible on Instagram and Snapchat, because I know for a fact that New York is going to be a heck of a lot of fun. I'm going to enjoy it, and I really cannot wait to go, because it's like pretty much the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me, since I probably might not ever get an opportunity like this ever again. So when we go to New York, I will definitely make sure I enjoy it as much as possible. So those are my updates, and then also I think I've also mentioned in July, we originally were supposed to go to Colorado for the church camp, but it got changed, and now we're heading to Austin College in Sherman, Texas, a trip. Now, on that July, I don't know what day in July, but when we go to Sherman, Texas, that'll be my official last time I'll be part of with the church. We'll be spending a week there, I believe, and that'll be my official last time being a student at the church, because after that event is over, that'll be it. I'm officially done being a senior at the church, and, you know, done being a student, period, which means I won't be a student at the church anymore, and everything. So, you know, basically, even though after my last day of school will be the week after next week, I still got a few months to go before I'm officially done being a student at the Avenue Church, so it won't be the end of me being a senior just yet anywhere, you know, which I'm kind of glad, because, you know, it'd be pretty sad if it was to end so quickly, you know, because I'm not even ready prepared to say goodbye yet. Like I said, starting tomorrow, I will definitely make sure that I will start enjoying, because starting tomorrow on Monday will pretty much be the last whole week I'll get of a school, because like I said, the week after this coming week, it'll only be 2 days on Monday and Tuesday, so pretty much starting tomorrow will be my official last full week of school, you know what I mean? But anyway, I think I've spoken long enough. I think I might as well just need to go ahead and get into this video. That's all the updates I have. Summer, I know for sure, will be very busy, because like I said, going to New York, going to Truman, Texas. Maybe there's some other things that maybe we could try to do over the summer. We have no idea, but I'll be looking forward to it. And I don't know if I'll be able to attend graduation though, because when I go to New York, we come back on June the 2nd, and I figured out where the seniors are supposed to practice for the graduation on July 2nd, because the next day on the 3rd is when we graduate. So I don't know if I'll be able to attend it. I hope I do. I'll be a little sad if I don't get to be part of graduation, but at the same time, I won't be too disappointed, because the problem is I'm not going to get my high school diploma when I'm up there on stage walking across, which is what usually seniors mostly get, but because there was a lot of backlash for the reasoning why I'm not getting mine. I won't be the only one, but for the main reason is because I am going to Navarro College of Waxahachie in August, and they said if I get my diploma when I go across state, when I go walk across, then I won't be able to get a bus ride to Navarro College of Waxahachie, which is something I need, because obviously my mom can't afford to drive me all the way that far and then be late to work and everything, because that's too far, so I have to, get the bus ride, so I had no choice. But at least thankfully when I'm in Navarro College Waxahachie, usually most colleges you only have like 3 and 5 years to go through, but luckily for this one it's only 2 years, so it won't be too long. Only 2 years, that's pretty short, so it won't be that long, so after I complete those 2 years, then I should be able to guarantee to get my high school diploma, and then that's where I gotta start focusing things as an adult, which is very, very emotional, very sad, because, I'm really not ready to move on, but you gotta do it what you gotta do. But anyway, I've spoken long enough. I already said that earlier, but now I'm officially done talking. So let's just go ahead and just start this video. I really should have started it like 6 minutes ago or something. So let's go ahead and just do this. But hold on, I'll be right back real quick before I start the video. Okay, I'm back. I went to go use the bathroom. So I had to turn my Wii U on. I was actually in the middle of the game. I thought I'd make a quick pause real quick so I can do this quick video. So anyway, I went to go get a drink of water, so now I'm done. Ignore that. That's some stuff from, Twitter, apparently, notifications about I didn't set notifications on, but, never mind. So anyway, I got the drink of water, so now I'm officially ready. So let's just go ahead and just get this Casey Jones voice comparison video out of the way, because I want to continue doing some things for a little bit before I have to leave to go to the senior sunset later at 7, even though I still got kind of like 3 hours, but, gotta do what I can. So anyway, let's just start this video. Like John Cena and Triple H would always say, your time is up, my time is now, it's time to play the game. Let's just go ahead and do this video, shall we? Casey Jones voice comparison in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Whoops. That was too.
What the heck? You're free! Come on! Just a minute. I feel overwhelmed.
Well, obviously this is the original Casey Jones voice actor from the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1987 show. Even though the voice is a bit different from how we usually hear Casey Jones nowadays, but I'll still give him a thumbs up because it's a classic, Patrick Fraley's a classic Casey Jones voice. He kind of sounds like Splinter almost when he talks, I'll be honest. Yes. Obviously, a lot of people are a big fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2003 Nickelodeon TV series show. Yeah, it was on Nickelodeon as well, yeah. Even though obviously everybody should already know what my favorite Ninja Turtle show is, but obviously this one is still a classic too. The 2003 is still a classic, and obviously, like I said, it's a lot of people's, everybody's favorite Ninja Turtle show, This one was a good show while it lasted, and it's obviously a classic to watch, and I do see some episodes. Of course, you can't go wrong with it and stuff. So, of course, I'll definitely give Mayor Thompson a thumbs up for his Casey Jones.
Somebody's gotta make them pay. And they will. They'll all pay. 'Cause Casey Jones is on the
Never can go wrong with these voices. Especially when it even comes to that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles Forever movie. That's where this guy, Thompson, Casey Jones' voice was at. And, before I continue with this one, and obviously, yes, by the way, yes, double thumbs up. But, man, obviously I don't know if it's really an underrated movie, it just feels like it to me, but Obviously, this is the movie, as I've already mentioned from time and time again. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2007 movie and its video game is obviously the reason why I'm a fan of the Ninja Turtles today. If I didn't see this movie and play its video game, I wouldn't have probably become the fan of the Ninja Turtles like I am today. So I owe it all to the movie and the video game. And obviously, even though Casey Jones was not voiced in the video game version, but he was in the movie, of course. And man, when I looked at the end credits one day and found out who the voice of Casey Jones was, I was shocked when I found out that the voice actor for Casey Jones in this movie was actually this man right here, Chris Evans. Wow. I would have never have thought how I would have never have guessed that it was Chris Evans behind the voice of Casey Jones in this movie. That is insane and incredible. Now, obviously, you already know by now. I already mentioned it in the Captain America voice comparison video for July 4th when I celebrate for. I obviously did mention it before in my Captain America voice comparison video when I reacted to it to celebrate July the 4th. I did mention that obviously I do love Chris Evans way more better as Captain America. That's what he's mostly known for. And like I said, he really does a good job as Captain America, so of course I love him as Cap. And he also and I do still love him a bit as Human Torch as well, since Human Torch was his original Marvel role from the original Fantastic Four movies before he got rehired later to be Captain America, starting with the Captain America First Avengers movie. I think that came out in 2011, if I'm assuming. Yeah, 2011. Man, it is incredible, knowing how I found out that Chris Evans was behind the voice. Like I said, I love him better as Captain America and I still love him a bit as Human Torch as well. But man, as Casey Jones, he surprised me, especially when I found out that it was him in the end credits. He really has a great voice for Casey Jones. He really does. So I will definitely still give him a thumbs up, double thumbs up, because of the fact that this movie really helped brought me to be the Ninja Turtle fan that I am today. Like I said, I would have never have guessed that this was Chris Evans being the voice of Casey in this movie. Can you believe that? Captain America voicing being Casey Jones in a movie that is in an animated movie. That's crazy. I don't know what Chris Evans is up to nowadays. I hope he's still doing good because I miss seeing him, and I don't know if he's gonna come back as Captain America or not because he hasn't been present as Captain America in the MCU since 2019 in Avengers Endgame, but I hope that, he can make his return because I really don't want him to see him go just yet as Captain America. I don't even want him to go, period, but I don't think it's really time for him to leave as Captain America yet. I hope maybe he can make another movie or more or something before he's officially done. Because I've been hearing a lot of rumors saying he might be retiring as Captain America and stuff, so. But I really hope that's not the case because I don't really want to see him leave just yet, so I hope maybe he can come back as Captain America one day. I hope he does. I don't know if he will, but I love to hope so, because I'm really not ready to see Chris Evans leave as Captain America yet, because he really does a great job as Captain America. I hope we get a chance to see him back in the MCU as Cap again. If not, then, oh well, I guess, he had a pretty good running, but I just hope he's not done for yet. I really hope he comes back in the MCU as Cap someday. I really hope he's not done being Captain America yet. And obviously, it's been years since he was Human Torch. I know it was back in the early 2000s when those original Fantastic Four movies were made, when he was Human Torch in that movie, which obviously he did a good job. Way more better than even him, and the cast of that movie did way better than even the rebooted cast in the 2015 one, that disgusting one. I didn't like that one at all. That one absolutely sucked. The 2015 Fantastic Four movie, rebooted Fantastic Four movie, absolutely sucked. Probably out of all the casts, I think The Thing was probably the best, even though the human form was not that good. But, making him into a monster was at least alright, but still, the movie was overall just bad. I didn't like it at all. And Johnny Storm, Human Torch, in that rebooted 2015 Fantastic Four movie was obviously the worst. I don't remember who the actor was. I don't remember the actor's name, but I know that the actor for that movie was actually the guy who plays Cyborg in the Justice League movie, which, obviously, he does way better as Cyborg, but, his character, him being Johnny Storm, the Human Torch in that movie, was the worst. Human Torch was the worst in that movie. And I was pretty surprised when I found out once again, because I couldn't remember who played Mr. Fantastic, but it was a guy, I forgot his name, but I know he was popular in, other movies and stuff, and I don't know if I'm familiar with who the woman is, but, it doesn't matter. Overall, the original Fantastic Four movies with Chris Evans and the original cast was obviously much better. So I still got respect for him as Human Torch because he did a good job back in the early days when that happened. Before then, he'd be rehired and then he becomes Captain America, which he became to have better success with, which I love him better as. So it's so cool, you know, and obviously I still have respect for, and obviously now that I know that he's the voice actor behind Casey Jones in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2007 movie, I got quite a lot of respect for him as Casey Jones as well. I don't know if I'll be able to still remember him as Casey Jones in the future, but I'll try my best, because I have a bad habit believing I'm probably not going to be able to remember him as Casey Jones just because I'm so used to him being Captain America and all that, but we'll see. But obviously, as I already said, double thumbs up. God, I had a lot to say. I'm sorry I took so long to speak.
Hey, wait up! Ah, come here. Like you never heard of smoke pellets? Warn me next time. I got allergies. Oh, come on. That's the second mask this week.
Like I said, I couldn't even, like I said, when I was watching this movie, I wouldn't have not even been able to recognize Chris Evans' voice either, because like I said, I had no idea it was him, so I wouldn't, if I didn't even find out that it was Chris Evans behind the voice of Casey Jones in that movie, I still probably would have never guessed it was him, because he really changes his voice very well, voicing Casey, you know. That's like the thing, you know, like sometimes depending on what actor, sometimes, you know, with their accents, you can still recognize the voices even when they're voicing other characters. Like, probably Nicolas Cage, for example, but, you know, sometimes some of the actors, like, whenever they do voice acting, they can change their voice pretty well. And Chris Evans actually does a pretty good job with that, changing his voice to make him sound like Casey, you know? And, yes! Obviously, that's my number one Casey Jones voice actor right there. As you already know, I've already mentioned it from time and time again, I'm a big fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2012 Nickelodeon 3D animated TV series. Great running that show had. I'm a big fan of it. Now that's my number one favorite Ninja Turtle show, and that, in my honest opinion, is the best Ninja Turtle show right there. So obviously, you know, I'm going to give props and credit and love for everything that was involved in this series, you know. Even though I didn't watch it on TV, but I constantly just bought DVD after DVD after DVD of it. Now, I did figure out, I don't know if it was, but I feel like I want to say the movie wanted Bebop and Rocksteady was probably the final episode ever of it. I don't have it, but I'd love to maybe try asking Mom if I could buy it on Amazon and eBay so I could watch it, because I really want to see that, especially the fact that they brought the 1987 Ninja Turtle shows back, you know, into that final episode. And by the way, obviously, even though I feel like the only thing that's a little bit different compared to how Casey Jones was in this version of the Ninja Turtles compared to every other version is the fact that he looked a little bit different. You know, he looked a lot more younger, which he was kind of, I don't know if he was kind of more younger because he was kind of a school student in this one. Because, you know, he's someone that becomes April's friend at school, so he was a teenage boy pretty much in this version. You know, he's a little younger, kind of a lot different than how you would have expected him to look like when you heard rumors about him appearing in the show. But like I said, that's probably the only thing off about it, I feel like. I mean, I haven't heard how people reacted, how they felt about Casey, you know, appearing in this, you know, how they thought about his appearance in this version of the Ninja Turtle show. But overall, despite the appearance being different from how you would have expected it to be, he still did great, and Casey Jones was still a cool character in this series. He still, you know, was a really excellent character, you know. I really do like how in this version of the Ninja Turtle, they really gave Casey and April some fighting abilities to really fight back very well. Because, I mean, Casey can fight, but, you know, sometimes, like April, they decide to go back and forth if she can fight, or sometimes she has to just be Miss Innocent Bystander and be rescued all the time. So, that's what I like about it. And Casey really does bring, you know, he was cool in this series. I like Casey, you know, of course. But before I continue on, man, about the voice actor for Casey Jones, man, it is so crazy how I even found out too when I first found out that Josh Peck was the man behind the voice of Casey Jones in this series. I was like, what? And wow at the same time, because I would have never have guessed that either. Because, you know, personally, I didn't even look at the end credits. I always kept forgetting to look at the end credits to find out who it was. So I had to look up on, like, research to find out who it was on Google. And I was surprised when I found out that it was Josh Peck behind the voice of him this whole time. It's hard to believe because even though I've never watched the show, but I obviously have already heard of Drake and Josh show, and obviously that's where both Josh Peck and Drake Bell were, you know, originally famous from. They were both famous from the Drake and Josh show, and that's kind of how their whole origin of popularity and famousy began, you know. They got famous for that show, and apparently even though after the show ended, they still did some other things after then, and all that kind of stuff. So, of course, Josh Peck will always be will always be more famous and more better off. You know, he will always be better off playing the role. You know, you get the point. He's obviously more famous, more popular, and obviously is better off playing the role of him, well, technically himself, because, you know, obviously in Drake and Josh show, both Drake Bell and Josh Peck went by their first name, so, you know, they're technically playing as themselves. So obviously Josh Peck, along with Drake Bell, will mostly be famous for the role as themselves in the Drake and Josh show, but they really seem to look like they were able to do some good and other things outside of the show. Like, I remember in the Spider-Man voice comparison, I reacted to that. I talked about Drake Bell was actually part of that video, and, you know, I talked about my opinion on how I thought about Drake Bell. You know, how I talked about his origin of being in the Drake and Josh show as well, and I talked about how I was impressed and how I actually like Drake Bell voicing Spider-Man, and obviously he's one of my picks for the Spider-Man voice actors. You know, he does a great job, and all that kind of stuff, you know. Like I said, even though in the end Drake Bell and Josh Peck will both be famous for them, mostly be famous as themselves, Drake and Josh, for the Drake and Josh show, but they really did some pretty good other stuff outside. Like, it was pretty impressive myself when I found out about Drake Bell, when I started learning about their whole origin being the Drake and Josh show, and then that interested me more about how then I found out that Drake Bell would voice Spider-Man later, and he does a great job. Like I said, Drake Bell is one of my favorite voice actors for Spider-Man. He does a great job as Spider-Man, and especially when it came to the Ultimate Spider-Man show, which is where he mostly had the voice actor famous from, you know, or the voice role famous from, you know, and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool how he's, you know, he really actually does a good job with Spider-Man outside of it, and then obviously apparently Josh Peck even found himself to voice a character outside of Drake and Josh show as well, and he ended up being the voice of Casey Jones in the Ninja Turtles 2012 series, and that's shocking. Isn't it so cool how apparently both Drake Bell and Josh Peck both voice characters that are very famous, and they both do a really good job with it. Like I said, I talked about it before in my Spider-Man voice comparison video. I don't know if I talked about it in my first reaction video, because like I said, I remember the Spider-Man voice comparison video was my very first reaction to a voice comparison video, and it was actually in 2019 before the pandemic started, and I had face cam on, and then last year in 2020, I re-reacted to it when I had TV. You know, that was when I was doing reaction videos on the big Apple TV and didn't have the face cam. You know, I was just holding the camera and set it up to do some videos. I remember talking about Drake Bell on my re-reaction to the voice comparison of Spider-Man, and, you know, to celebrate, it was pretty much to celebrate Spider-Man Day late, and, you know, I talked about Drake Bell then when he appeared. I talked about how his origin began with Drake and Josh show and all that stuff, and how I personally felt how he does a good job with Spider-Man and all that stuff. And now, here I am talking about it again, but this time with Josh Peck, finding out that he's the voice of Casey Jones. Like, it's so cool. Like I said, this really interests me even more now that I know for the fact that it was Josh Peck behind the voice of Casey Jones in this series. This is incredible. Obviously, by my reaction when I clapped earlier, of course, you know, I said yes. Obviously, you know, I'm going to give it a double thumbs up. And obviously, anything that involves with this Ninja Turtle show, it's my #1 favorite. So obviously, anything, it doesn't matter which character it is, I'm always going to have it as my top pick because this show was the best for me. It rocked my childhood growing up and everything. Like I said, of course, once again, for the last time, in the end, Josh Peck, along with Drake Bell, will always be mostly famous for the role as themselves in the Drake and Josh show. But they really apparently had some pretty good deals with doing some character voice acting and other stuff outside of their Drake and Josh show. And Josh Peck voicing Casey Jones really was surprising and interests me a lot. And he really does a really good job with Casey Jones. So, you already know it. Double thumbs up to Josh Peck. I really want to know what Josh Peck and Drake Bell are up to nowadays. I wonder what they're up to. It'd be interesting if I ever find out. But anyway, continue. Once again, I apologize for talking for a long time. I just usually have a lot to say when it comes to this show. And obviously, because of the fact that it's Josh Peck voicing Casey in the show, this interests me even more. And, you know, I had a lot more to say. But, you know. Anyway, finally, I'm going to continue. Like I said, I apologize for taking so long again. I just couldn't. Like I said, I was just so shocked when the first time I found out Josh Peck was the man behind the voice of Casey Jones in this series. Nothing gets old for me when it comes to this show.
School isn't really my thing. When I graduate, I'm becoming either a pro hockey player or an international bounty hunter. Whatever that thing is.
Well, you already know it. Obviously, you should already take a guess by now. Obviously, pretty much all 4 of the Casey Jones voice actors did great. But obviously, Josh Peck is my number one favorite for the Ninja Turtle 2012 TV series, because obviously, anything that evolves around that Nickelodeon 3D animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle series, obviously, I'm going to give a big thumbs up for it as my top favorite pick. So, obviously, Josh Peck is my number one favorite voice actor for Casey Jones, but I will also give credit to Mayor Thompson from the 2003 show, because that's classic, and I obviously need to give credit to... And obviously, even though I love him better as Captain America and the Human Torch in Marvel, I still got to give him credit for his voice, because especially when it comes to that 2007 Ninja Turtle movie, it helped me to become the Ninja Turtle fan that I am today, and that is, of course, Chris Evans. And also, I will give credit to the original voice actor as well, Patrick Fraley, but it's obviously, but mostly... Sorry, start back to the beginning. I will give credit to Josh Fraley, but no. Excuse me, I'm messing up. I will give credit to Patrick Fraley as well for the classic voice actor for Casey Jones in the 1987 Ninja Turtle series. But when it comes down to it, between all four of these, it's Josh Peck, Mark Thompson, and Chris Evans that take my only three picks for the voice of Casey Jones. Like I said, no disrespecting Patrick for not including him and anything. It's just I'm not really into the show as much as I am into future Ninja Turtle stuff, so that's why I'm not putting him on my list. But I still give him credit because it's a classic. So, once again, Mark Thompson, Josh Peck, and Chris Evans are my top three picks of Casey Jones. Especially Josh Peck is number one for that show. And I'll have to put Chris Evans as second because, it's because of that movie that's the reason why I'm a fan of the Ninja Turtles. And I'll still give it to Mark Thompson because, his is a classic. And then... even though, of course, they weren't included in this video, of course, because it's animated voice comparison, so they only chose animated voice comparison voice actors. But for the live action wise, obviously, there's only two men that have ever played Casey Jones in live action Ninja Turtle wise. And of course, I gotta give credit. Like I said, even though they're not in this video, I still gotta give them a shout out and mention because, they deserve it. Just like I did with the April O'Neil voice comparison video, even though the live-action April O'Neil actresses weren't included. But for live-action Casey Jones is obviously my number one pick for the live-action Casey Jones is obviously none other than Elias Cotees, if that's how you say his last name. Elias Cotees from the original 1990 Ninja Turtle movie. And he did also reappear in the third one, Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time. Although Elias's performance as Casey Jones in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, Turtles in Time was a bit off and a bit kind of turned down because unfortunately Casey Jones didn't exactly get to do a lot in that movie. He didn't get to fight. He didn't get to really do much. So pretty much in Ninja Turtles 3, it was kind of like Elias's performance as Casey Jones was kind of wasted in that movie because, like I said, they didn't do a lot for Casey Jones in that movie. He didn't get to fight or hardly do anything. He was just sitting around at the lair with Splinter and everything. But still, overall, despite that, even though that was pretty much one of the only fewest things that I think that turned that movie down, but despite that, it was still a good movie and everything. All three of the original Ninja Turtle movies are classics, so I can't go wrong with them. And obviously, even though despite that being turned down for Elias's performance as Casey because he didn't get to do anything in Ninja Turtles 3, he still did good, and obviously, but he definitely did way better in the first movie, in 1990. And I think it's 1995 is when it came out, but you get the point. In the 1990s is when those movies came out. Did way better in the first movie because he got to definitely fight and all that stuff. So, I can't. So, like I said, the original live-action Ninja Turtle movies are my favorites, and the originals are just definitely better for me. So, I got to give it to Elias Cotees. If that's once again, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing his last name wrong, but Elias Cotees for being the original Casey Jones voice actor. I mean, Casey Jones actor, live-action actor. And then even though, once again, even though most people did not like the rebooted Ninja Turtle movies, or, most people didn't really like the rebooted Ninja Turtle movies. They were underrated for most people when those movies came out in 2014 through 16, the ones where they look like giants and everything. Even though those rebooted movies didn't get a lot of credit and everything, and a lot of people didn't really like them as much, but they still were okay in my opinion. They weren't good movies, but they were at least okay. They were still enjoyable for some ways, And obviously, even though he didn't appear as Casey Jones till the second movie, Turtles Out of the Shadows, which came out in 2016, I still gotta give him credit because he did good anyway, and that is Stephen Amell. He played Casey Jones in the second Ninja Turtle movie. Stephen Amell really did not do bad as Casey Jones, because Stephen Amell's got a great athleticism and all that stuff, and all that kind of stuff, so it really kind of suited him a bit to play as Casey Jones, even though they didn't make him look like the way how Casey really looks like. But overall, despite that, he did okay as Casey. His performance was not that bad, Obviously, Stephen Amell is way better off and is definitely more famous and better off being the Green Arrow from the DC Arrows TV series. That's where he's famous from, and obviously he does definitely do a much better job as Oliver Queen, aka the Green Arrow in the DC Arrow series. Definitely better off as him. But as Casey Jones, he didn't do a bad job, so I still give him credit and still like him a bit as Casey Jones, but obviously I do love him more better as the Green Arrow, because that's where he's better famous from, and he really does a lot more better as Green Arrow, so... But I still give him credit for his performance as Casey Jones, because he did alright, so... So obviously for live action wise, it's obviously going to be both. So actually, as I already told you, for live action wise for Casey Jones, it's obviously both Casey Jones actors, Elias Cortez and Stephen Amell. They both deserve my spot. Obviously Elias is number one and Stephen Amell second, but overall they both did good. But obviously Elias is the one that does it way better, so he takes the number one spot. So that's all my picks for Casey Jones. Once again, I'll repeat it one more time just to make sure you catch that. Well, actually I don't need to. You already know it now. So that's it. I'm done. I've spoken long enough. I've spoken way too much now, so I'm officially done. So, don't forget to leave a comment down below letting me know who you love as the voice of Casey Jones. And, oh, actually, you know what? I forgot to mention, actually. I need to talk about this one. I knew I was going to forget, but in the current TV series Ninja Turtle show that we have right now, which is Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I know in one of the more recent episodes, they just finally introduced Casey Jones in the 2018 Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show, which I have yet to find out if I'll ever watch that show or not, but I did see that they finally introduced Casey Jones in that one, and unfortunately, I don't know what to make of it though, because they turned Casey Jones into a girl in that movie. Casey Jones is actually a girl in that movie, so I don't know, and her full name's actually Cassandra Jones, but they should call her Casey. So I don't really know. It's really weird seeing how they just decided to change Casey's change Casey's gender in that movie, making him or her into a female. So I'm still not going to be too sure about that part. If I watch it, I don't know. I'll have to warm up to that, because that's going to be so weird. I'm used to seeing Casey as a man, so I don't know how I'm going to really react if I start seeing more of him as a girl in that show. So we'll see. So for that one, for the female Casey Jones in the Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show, I'll give her a maybe, just because I'm not sure about it yet. Just a maybe. I'll give her a maybe at least, so that'll be good enough. Okay, now I'm officially done. So don't forget to leave a comment down below, let me know who you love as the voice of Casey Jones, and be sure to share this with all your friends, because I love to get everybody's honest opinions. So, that'll be it for today, you guys. If you like this video, give a thumbs up. Dislike, give it a thumbs down. Join me next time for the next video. To all you boys, men, and guys out there, boom, fist bumps go to all of you. And to all the girls, ladies, and women out there, mwah, kisses go out to all of you. But until then, this is Joe Flash signing off, and have a good day.